Thanks, Ella, and welcome back to our Sunday gathering. Before we start, please reach out to your tens and invite them to join us. And if you're able, please turn on your cameras so we may see your smiling faces. Now, with our opening intention, John? John, you're muted.
Thank you, friends. Okay, Bala Sulam, the essence of religion and its purpose. Through the subtle blessedness we feel when working solely for Him to bring Him contentment, there develops within us a relative recognition of lowliness, of these sparks of self-love, that they are obstacles on our way to receiving that subtle taste of bestowal upon the Creator. Lahain. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Now we are thrilled to introduce our special guest, our head of the English department. Let's give him a warm welcome. Asaf?
Yes, hello friends. Okay, can you hear me well? See me well? Okay. First of all, hopefully I'm not a guest. I'm typically I am trying to be connected also to this gathering, which is usually really awesome and inspiring. And if you'll notice, you'll see that when I'm not here, there's a bot called Asaf's agent that joins the conversation, and then I have it recorded, so then I can listen to it later on, or at least get a summary of it. So hope everyone is ready for the Congress, getting ready for the Congress. This is obviously the first thing on everyone's minds and hearts right now. So let's hope that everything we do and everything that I'm going to tell you about today also will contribute to the preparation to the Congress, which is really the pretty much the one and only thing we should be caring about and concerned about right now. I'm gonna talk a little bit about activities and areas of responsibility of the English department as per the request of the Arvut team. So I'm gonna try to give you a kind of an overview while also weaving in some updates, because this is also something that that I was asked for. So it's a bit ambitious with the limited time that we have, but I'll give it a shot. Okay. So firstly, wait, let me show my screen. 1 second. Someone else is sharing, so I'm gonna send a request, and now I should be able to. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Right. Wait, I also want to, there we go. So now I have the option. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes, you can. Awesome. Okay, friends, so a few words about the organizational structure in BB in general. This is probably not news for most of you, but still good to kind of refresh our heads and see how that works. So in Bnei Baruch, we first of all have the Bnei Baruch management. The Bnei Baruch management, these are 6 friends appointed by Rav. I think by now everyone knows them. That's Mushi and Aviu and Dudi and Akoka and Oren and Gilad. And they were all appointed by Rav, and they are meeting regularly, sometimes every day, definitely in contact every day, and they essentially are responsible for the overall direction of everything that we do, which is essentially what Rav was doing for a long time. And as Rav instructed them, they make unanimous decisions. So this means that they have to spend time working together and getting to a point where everyone feels that a decision is correct, and then they make it. That's how the BB management works in general. Then we have Mushi. Mushi is the CEO of Bnei Baruch, from also from a legal perspective, but also from the perspective of day-to-day operations. This means that Mushi is responsible for directing and overseeing all of the global activities, all of the global day-to-day operations in Bnei Baruch. And how does he do it? Through the heads of languages. And the heads of languages essentially are responsible for the activity in each area of, for the activities in each language where Bnei Baruch has activity. Now, some languages have a large volume of activity, and therefore they have a dedicated head, like in English, like for instance in Turkey. In Turkish, in the Turkish language, we have Mutlu. He's the head of the Turkish language, and similarly, we have a head of the Russian department, which is Boris, and we have similarly, let's say, for the Italian language, we have Moshe Admoni. But in areas where we have less activity, then we can have a person who's responsible for several languages. This happens in the case of Europe, for instance. There are many countries with activities in different languages, and Judith Sabal is responsible. She's the head of the European languages. If there's a language with a lot of activity, then typically it will get a dedicated head of language, as in the case of Italy or Turkey, and so forth. And for English, it is yours truly. The head of languages is a forum that meets once a week, and it is coordinated by Boris, who's also the head of the Russian department. He's also the coordinator for all of the heads of languages. And he makes sure that we have a weekly meeting, and that if things are related and relevant to all of the languages, then they come up in that meeting. We also have a WhatsApp group where we communicate, and the forum of the heads of languages meets on a monthly basis with the Bnei Baruch management. And of course with Mushi Senelevich, who's the head of the organization, on a need basis, and also on a regular basis. So this is in general how the management structure of Bnei Baruch works. Okay, and this is where my role fits in. Now I'm going to try, this is the more ambitious part, I'm going to try to do like an overview of all of our activities in what we call the English department of Bnei Baruch. And it's a little ambitious to try to do all of that and weave in some updates for you and not make it too tedious and too many details. So I will do my best, but bear with me, all right? So first of all, what is the English department? We call it the English department of Bnei Baruch. But from a legal standpoint, all of the activity that we do in the world in English is related to under an entity called Bnei Baruch America. Bnei Baruch America is a non-profit, a registered non-profit in the US. This is what's called a 501c3, and this means that there's quite a significant amount of work that needs to be done just to maintain that entity. First of all, before we go into any area of activity, we have to make sure that things like good governance are taking place, which has to do with the transparency of the organization in front of the authorities, accountability, compliance with all kinds of things. Just to give as an example, yeah. For instance, key people in Bnei Baruch America have to do all kinds of trainings that the law forces us to do. So we have to make sure that these things happen. Sometimes we have to work with lawyers to make sure that we keep our nonprofit status. All kinds of things that are not particularly interesting, but very, very important for us to be able to do everything that we want to do. We want to study together, we want to disseminate, we want to do congresses, we want to do a lot of activities, and we of course also use money and resources for these activities, and financial management is a huge part of good governance, as it's called. So we have to make sure that these things happen, and that leads me to the first area. What I'm presenting here in general is areas of activity. This is not a list of projects. It's areas where there can be multiple projects in each area. So the finance area, let's say, of the department, I want to say a few words about that. We have friends, specifically two key people that I want to mention, that we don't know it, but thanks to them, everything that we do happens, because at the end of the day, it can't happen without resources in this world. We still live in a corporeal world, and even for us to speak right now, we're using a Zoom account, a business Zoom account, so that we can host a lot of people and have meetings without having limits of time and so forth. So even that requires resources. Everything requires resources on the level of this world, right? And we have friends who are doing work that is, to be honest, mostly tedious work, not super creative, not very and always inspiring, but they inspire me so much because they just do it because the goal is important. They do it for the importance of the goal. And the key people here are Beth Shillington and Albert Kaikov. And these people, I have to stop everything and just tell you, we owe a lot to them. They do so much. And as I said, not the most fun work, has to do with accounting, has to do with numbers, has to do with, many times boring, tedious things. But they have to be done, especially because we are a nonprofit. I meet with them typically every week, at least for an hour. Sometimes friends who have professional experience help us. And I'm just inspired by these friends because they really do it. Yeah, Albert can fool you and tell you that he likes it, but really, he's in for the importance of the goal. And I want to thank them for this, and we should all be thankful to them. They do a lot of work there. We also have, then we have HR. I'll try to go quickly so we can talk about everything, at least get a perspective. Our organization relies on volunteers. It's 100%. There is no way for us to do everything that we do without the power of volunteers. Most of the people who are working in dissemination are volunteers, and only a small amount of people in areas where it's really impossible to do something without doing it full time or without being paid for it for a significant amount of time. Only that is really being paid for. Most of the work that is done in terms of nurturing our community, in terms of disseminating and making the wisdom of Kabbalah more accessible, in terms of teaching Kabbalah, all of that work is done mostly by volunteers. The total number of volunteers that we have currently in the English department, meaning if you were to count the amount of people who are doing something on a regular basis, could be a small thing, could be a big thing, that's about 180 people who are right now engaged in some sort of dissemination work or community work, let's say, or some sort of a work that helps us. And I'll go into more details later. And the person who's helping people get into the system is Iva. Iva is a key player in our HR department. She heads it, and if you want to join dissemination, she is the address, and I'll say more, maybe another word about it later on. And we need to take into account it's challenging. It's challenging to find the right place for volunteers. A lot of people have a good desire. The system is complex, and sometimes certain skills are required. Sometimes a person has the skill, but he doesn't have the time because it's volunteers. You know, we depend on many things here. Sometimes a person has the desire but doesn't have the skills, so they need training. Sometimes certain things don't fit in the best, and they need to be changed. So it's a very challenging thing, but it's done, and it's done well. And as I said, we have about 180 friends that are right now engaged in some kind of work in the department. Um, yeah, let's go on to another area. I'll talk about technology just for a few seconds here. We have to rely on outsourcing when it comes to technology. I won't go into details, but there's so much technology that we have to maintain. If you take, for example, just as an example, if you take CubU, if you take our websites, there's a lot of technology that goes into that with databases and CRM systems and a lot of things that have to happen. And in Bnei Baruch, in-house, in here in Israel, we have a technological department, but they are just overloaded. They're so busy doing things of high priority, and they can't, it's impossible, it's unrealistic for them to serve each and every language with each and every need. So in order to advance, we have to rely on outsourcing. So we have more than one company that we're working with, depending on the needs, and that needs to be managed as well. And that's typically how we solve most of our technological needs. Moving on, let's talk about social media. Social media is a very important area. Social media it has to do with keeping a presence online and organically reaching people who are interested in our content. This means that we have to show our presence wherever people might be there with an interest, with a point in the heart, and can meet us. So we have YouTube videos, and we have Facebook posts, and we have Instagram posts, and we are on X, and in all those networks we have channels both for under Rav's name that come from him, from his name directly, and also channels that come from the organization's name. So I said X, there's Pinterest, there's TikTok, and that means that we have to create a lot of content in various formats. We have short videos that are vertical, long videos up to 60 seconds, and we have longer videos that are up to 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and then we also have talking shows that are about half an hour, and we also have a live podcast and a live weekly lecture and written posts and question and answers posts and quote posters, and that is a lot of work. There are about 50, 60, more closer to 60 volunteers that are working regularly in order to maintain that, in order to make that happen. It's also important when we're talking about social media, it's important to understand the landscape today, the algorithms, without getting into too many technical details. The algorithms today work in a way where if you want to be seen, it requires regular posting. We have to post and post all the time. This is how it works at the moment. We're of course trying to keep up with the landscape and be on the cutting edge of that, and also with AI. I won't get into this now, but we're absolutely always thinking about how to optimize our systems. But either way, there's as I said, close to 60 volunteers that are designing, creating, writing, producing media for social media. The key person in charge here of all this work is Rachel Ben Zion, or Rachel, if you will. And she does a great work in working with all those great people who are interested in working. And if you want to be to try your hand in creating content for social media, it's definitely possible. This is an area that allows for a lot of creative freedom. You can come up with ideas. You can find an area, whether it's in writing or in editing or video production or design. You can probably contribute. So, l'chaim to all those who are doing this great work. And I want to give you a related update. It's kind of related to social media, and that's with regards to our website. It is related to our social media because today your presence online is also related to your website. And we, for a few months, we were working on this project of redoing Kabbalah, the Kabbalah info site from the ground up. And this is what I'm showing you now is the new website. We're almost there. We're almost there. In fact, if you copy this hidden URL, you will already get to the site, but a lot of the links will be broken. This is still not officially up there, but it's already in the process of migration. We're now in literally the last few days of this process. Where basically we're deploying and migrating the new site instead of the old site. And once we're done, we'll just take out the old site and we'll only have the new one here. And I'll just scroll through a little bit over the homepage. And I want to tell you that we had a bottleneck, a real bottleneck with this site because of this. You see this part of the site? This is called the Kabbalah library. And this required manual migration of something like 3,000 pages. And we tried AI. Trust me, if you know how I work, then whenever there's an opportunity to automate something, I will do it. And we tried with a few different ways, but for that specific work, we couldn't find the right tool that will do it in the proper way. We recognized we have to use volunteers for that, and this is how it was done. So I want to raise a big l'chaim to all the people who specifically worked, again, tediously, just copying and pasting and formatting and organizing. It was Janet Bangeri, Linda Lindsay, Jolene Noonmaker, Pam Kirk, Attila Varga, John Alvarez, Dan Forsyth, Francis Nuama, and Hans van der Poel. Thank you so much. This is thanks to you that we were able to finally wrap things up and start putting the site on air. So we're almost there. It's very close. I think it'll be on air a few days after the Congress, maybe even before if we're lucky, but it's almost done. Let's move on to some other things. Whoa, where am I? That's something else. Sorry. Here we go. So I talked about social media. So this is work that basically, let me put it like that. These two areas are related. Essentially, if we want to reach people, there's two ways to do it, to reach people online. You either write something, produce something, and put it on social media and hope for the algorithm to carry it into the interested people, or you also pay money so that the algorithm will definitely get it into interested people. We have to use both. It's also it sounds simplistic, but it's not. The kind of people you get through organic reach is different. They're typically more interested. They're not. The people you get through paid marketing are more cold, and they need different kinds of content and different kinds of funnels. Without getting into all that in a way that I won't get out of in a few seconds, I'll just say this: paid marketing is a profession. It requires experience. It requires a lot of detail and a lot of attention to detail. And it's essentially, it requires constant testing and optimization. It's not like send it and forget it, just pay for it and forget it. That might be the reality in the case of billionaires who can just flood social media with with paid ads. That's not our situation, and so it requires constant testing, constant optimization. And the key person here who's leading that effort for the English department is Danny Polovitz, and he's doing a really great job at always trying to improve how we can reach people, and then with reaching people organically and reaching people with paid ads, this is how we try to bring people to our content, people who are interested, people who are who want to learn more, and that's how they gradually get into KabU, which is our next area that I'm going to talk about. And KabU, you all know, this is our educational platform. This is where we teach people who actually show interest, who are interested in taking a course, in making a commitment, in studying this wisdom in a serious way, and ultimately becoming friends in our community, becoming parts of our collective soul that is coming together in the coming Congress. So KabU is an entire department in and of itself. It has so many aspects. There's a financial aspect. There's a pedagogical aspect, of course. There's a technological aspect. A lot of technology work that goes into that. There's an administrative aspect. There's a lot of work. There's over 100 volunteers that are working on KabU on a regular basis. There's like 20 instructors and 50, 60 buddies. Buddies are veteran friends who welcome the newer friends in their WhatsApp groups and help them and guide them a little bit. We have about 30 Zoom operators. In short, it's a lot of work done by a lot of people. Absolutely, we wouldn't be able to do this without volunteers, and we also wouldn't be able to do this with the key people here who are Michelle and Zohar. Zohar is essentially the operations manager of this whole infrastructure, and there's a lot of moving pieces here all the time. He's very busy. And Michelle is responsible for student support, among other things. And there's a lot of people, as I said. They're leading it, and Zohar is heading the whole thing. But there's a lot of people involved in this. And a quick update. I mentioned, if you remember, in the last quarter, I was here for another update, and I mentioned that we are thinking about a retreat. We're not sure yet. So by now we know there's going to be a KabU retreat in Holland this year. It'll be in June, specifically from June 12th through the 14th. We're going to have a KabU retreat in Holland, and it's going to be great. Moving on. I will we'll also get to the an update about the Congress in October in America, where I'll get to it now. Another area that we have in our department is something we call the English-speaking CLE management. This essentially has to do with everything that belongs to nurturing our community. A great example is this meeting right now. In order for this meeting to happen, friends like, for example, and I'm definitely not naming everyone, but friends like Irina Kostenberg and John, for example, and Richard, right, had to prepare themselves, and people had to figure out what are we going to do this week, and setting up the Zoom and sending out the invites. So that's an example of just one meeting that has to do with nurturing our community. By the way, here's a quick riddle, let's say, okay? How should we call this gathering? How do we call it right now? We typically call it the NA social gathering, the North American social gathering. Are there people here who don't live in North America? Here's Christina. Christina, you're in Germany, right? Right now. And if I see Dowie, you're in Holland right now, right? So this is why we should call this the English CLE gathering, okay? It's true that our base and most of our students from KabU come from North America, and that's where we have the strongest base and the most veteran friends and veteran tens. That's clear. But when we bring in students through KabU, they could be from anywhere. And with us right now are people who are also not necessarily from North America. So looking forward into the future, this is probably how we should call this gathering as well. Okay, so everything that has to do with nurturing our community is related to this. There's also the Arvut team, of course. that they're doing great work supporting the tens and helping solve problems for the tens and inspiring the tens, inspiring our community all the time. So that work is related to the English CLE management as well. There's a team that we've put together now that includes both management of CABU and friends from the Arvut team that are working together on a revision of our entire study program. I won't get into this now, but this is a big project where we basically adapt everything in CABU to fit a new move that we're doing globally in BB, which is creating the global student community. This also has to do with the new tuition fee. So it's a whole process in itself. Won't get into the details now. Another kind of project that is related to this area is, of course, our congresses. And for this, Zor, are you here? Okay, if
Yes,
Zor is
I'm
not
here.
here,
I'm here.
okay, he's here. So give us a 2-minute update on
Okay,
what's going on with the October Congress.
right.
You
October seems,
promised you
I
promised there will
promise.
be a place for it.
They
Are we
say,
close?
everything we talk about in the last few days is all about building a Kli, building the temple, building the house. So we have to build a place for the Congress. For us to have a Congress, we have to build a place. And we were given the mandate to look for a Congress, and a beautiful team of friends here. I want to single them out because they're just beautiful people who've been working for several months now. And I'll probably forget someone. I hope I don't, but I see Roberta and Mary and John Larkins and Chris Fisher and Mary and I'm sorry, Kathy and who am I? Am I missing? Roberta? Who am I missing on the team? Did I say someone I didn't say? I can't remember. But there were several other supporting people, but these people have been working. We went from just we need to find a place in North America. We need to find a place so that in October, understand that if you want to sign a place, you have to sign so many months in advance to find a place because we have such specific needs and such specific requirements. We have to have a Congress that will be able to be open in the middle of the night to fit the world CLE. We have to have comfort. We have to learn from the things we did last time in Pennsylvania and not make some of the mistakes there and improve on those. We want to be able to serve each other, to cook for each other if it's possible. All the things that are possible. We went from like 150. We created a complete AI agent for finding a place, and we didn't limit ourselves anywhere in North America. Yes, with an emphasis to certain areas, but give us something. And the work we've been working on around the clock, we've been meeting every week and following up and calling places and narrowing down the searches. We started with 150 places that came up in the first initial search, gradually lowered it, and right now I want you to know that we are down to there are only three places left. One is very clearly going to be probably let out, and we have like two front runner places that will fit everything that we want. It'll be a perfect place for our Congress. Now it's the details, which will give us this better, that better, and hopefully in the next week or two, we can actually be able to open up share the information, say this is where we're having it, this is the place. It'll obviously be brought before the team, the Arvut team, and the management and everything, and let everyone know. But now it looks like we're very, very close to having a place for our Congress in October, and then we can start building what's going to be inside that place. But these friends, thank you for the. We should all be so grateful for all the, weeks and months and hours of long calling people and trying to reach people that we don't know who their numbers and following up and discussing it between us and trying to make sure that this decision is not like one person's deciding for everyone, but it's like a true representation of what everyone needs. So be excited because it's going to be really an awesome Congress this year. I'm sure soon we'll all be preparing it together.
All right. Thank you, Zor, and all the
I'm leaving
friends
it as
helping
I'm
him.
not giving details because I don't want anyone to think. You have to leave a little suspense.
Yeah. All right. Next area, books. Books are still a thing. Believe it or not, even in 2026, books are important to us, and I'll explain why. Even if perhaps today we don't look at it as a means for broad dissemination, books are inseparable from our existence as Bnei Baruch. besides the fact that books have a spiritual value, we see that it still is one of the best devices for students to get on the path. And that's not necessarily the source materials, but also our beginner books. It's very, very important for beginner students. And then, of course, for us, for all the veteran students, our source materials, there's still great work that needs to be done in translating them. So, of course, you all know the key person here is Chaim Ratz, and he's the chief editor of all our books. And even now, as we speak, with all of the Congress work and all of the Arvut team work and everything else that he's doing, he's also working on tests. He updated me recently that test part one is officially almost ready. We were even looking into the option of printing it for this Congress. Can't happen yet, but very soon after the Congress, we will look into exactly where and how to do it. But it looks like we're going to have test one very, very soon. The Zohar in English is also in the works. I mentioned in the previous quarter that we started working on translating a book, a new book on Baal Sulam that reveals some really interesting details that our friend Michael Burstein found and researched. And this book is being translated now by Mark Berelekis. He's doing his solo work on it, but with the help of Chaim Ratz as well. He's already more than 50% done, and we're on track to complete this book also by the end of this quarter, meaning the end of March. And as a last-minute thing before the Congress, we were able to quickly work on another booklet that is really nice. It's called Life as a Gift, and this takes things that Rav said from multiple places, as well as source material that specifically discusses the parallel between spiritual birth and corporeal birth. So this is really nice. It's a booklet that essentially takes you through the whole process from the birth of the point in the heart, which is still not complete spiritual birth, but only the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. And then it takes us through the whole process, including what we call the absorption of the sperm and the development of the embryo in the womb and the 9 months of pregnancy and so forth, and the birth itself. So it really draws these parallels between spiritual birth and how it manifests in the corporeal branches. So this should be really, really nice for all of us. And with God's help, we will have it printed and ready at the Congress in Israel. We'll also have some copies that we'll bring over in the first opportunity to the US and probably to the Holland retreat as well. So this was done thanks to some great friends who helped make this happen, including Chaim's help as well. And lastly, so this is books. And lastly, I want to talk about the Seekers app, which sounds like a project, but it actually might become a whole area of activity. And let me explain and end with that. The app is not just a product. It's not just like a single book or a single video or a single course even. The app is potentially an entire area of activity because we're opening ourselves to a new kind of audience. We call it the Seekers audience. This means we're developing a new kind of language for them. In a way, if you've heard some explanations about the visitor center in Israel, this is it's not the same project at all, but in terms of reaching a new audience and developing a language for them, these challenges exist here as well, and they're relevant here as well. If this works, if this is going to draw the audience that we're looking to draw and will work for them, it's a big if, but we're going for it, we're trying, then we will have to establish, we're talking about hundreds, at least, hundreds of people that are coming in and connected to this on some regular basis. Of course, this is much less demanding than a system like CubU. This is not, long, full-time, real-time lessons and so forth, but it's a connection to our wisdom, it's a connection to our organization, and it's a connection to a person right in their pocket. And if we get just in the beginning, we're looking at getting hundreds of users just in the first year. If it's not going to get to these amounts, then it's not it's not worth it. We're looking at thousands in a few years, for sure. And if this works the way we hope, then indeed we're going to need a lot of friends to help. We're going to put ourselves into a new mess, but a good one, one that requires us to work for others. And right now, I'll give a quick status update. We're at a point. First of all, this is new to us. We've never actually designed a mobile app that is not just an accessory for our own community, but an app that has its own. It needs its own language and branding and marketing, and it needs to reach people where they are and so forth. It turns out that it's a lot more than just putting some lines of code together that work on a mobile app. There's a lot around it. Right now we're in a stage where the development of the basic app is done. I've already also showcased it, I believe, here and also in the CubU retreats. By the way, the CubU students helped finance the development of the app. We were doing fundraising in the last few retreats, and thanks to them, pretty much 70% of the development costs were funded by CubU students. So this is really nice. And the initial content is ready. Now we're working with a marketing agency, nice guys who actually went deep into our material, and we gave them a little bit of an introductory lesson about what Kabbalah is, and they went into the content, and so it's a nice process we're having with them, and they're helping us adapt a few things that still need to be tweaked in order for it to better reach new people. We also have some technological blockers, but we will solve them with your prayers, and if everything goes well, I really hope that by the end of this quarter we will be able to launch it. It's still questionable, but if not the end of this quarter, then beginning of next one, I'm pretty sure that's going to be out there, and I will let you know more. So this is in a nutshell all of the currently live and beating and kicking areas of activity in the English department. My role is to direct and oversee this, but honestly, I would be unable to do a thing without dozens and dozens of friends who are really, really showing me the importance of the goal. It's just amazing to see friends that are dedicated, and from my perspective, you can really see how it all depends on each and every one. It really, really does. Altogether, taking everything into account, that's about 200 friends serving about 15,000 people in various circles. This number, 15,000, is not a l'chaim number. To say it as a joke, I mean, this is pretty much who we reach. If you take the videos that people watch and the emails that are actually opened, not just people who are in our mailing lists, but actually the amount of people who open emails. If you take all of the people that we know we can reach, if I today want to reach people with our content, we can reach organically about 15,000 people. About 1,000 of them are people studying in CubU in various levels. And all this work, mostly by volunteers, more than 90%, is done by altogether about 200 friends. So that's an overview of the English department plus a few updates. I see now that we're almost out of time, and I know that Chaim also needs time, but Irina told me that it's okay if we stay a few more minutes. So I hope that I didn't cross any lines here with the time. I'll put this on the screen for a while for you to copy if you're interested. These are some important contacts. So HR at CubU Connect if you want to join dissemination. This is where you get to Iva, who will help you do that. info@kabbalah.info is great for any kind of inquiries you have. It will reach the right people through that email. If you feel like you want to reach me directly with something, go ahead at asaf@kabbuconnect.com. And if you want to reach the Bnei Baruch management, then you go to management, there we go, at bneibaruch.org. All right, friends, thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry it did take a little longer than I wanted. I wanted to also open up for questions, so I guess we'll do that at a later time. Chaim, you're up next.
Actually, no. Wow,
Okay.
thanks so much, Asaf, and for all of our
Wait,
volunteers.
Richard, why do we have to stop now?
We're
If
not
there's no
stopping.
activity.
You're not next.
Who's next?
Sorry.
Now
I
with an
made-
update
I
from
created the confusion. Yes.
Thank you. Now with an update from our inspiration team and a short clip from Toronto 1.
Holy moly, dear Kabbalists, friends of the English Kli.
We're looking at WhatsApp screen.
Yeah, we're not seeing the video.
Officially been invited to take a short vacation
John, wrong screen. Wrong screen.
Congress, February 19th to 21st, America and the world.
This
Holy moly, dear Kabbalists, friends of the English Kli, breaking spiritual news. Your ego has officially been invited to take a short vacation because we're heading into the World Kabbalah Congress, February 19th to 21st, 2026 Israel, and simultaneously in mirror congresses across North America and the world.
This is a once again historic opportunity. Yes, again and again, to stick to the 10 like Velcro rise above personal calculations, glue our hearts together, and most importantly, adhere to the Creator.
Whether you're joining in Israel or in a mirror Congress, the invitation is the same. Come connect with your 10, come lose yourself in the friends, come let the light do what it does best. No passports required for adhesion, no luggage limits for bestowal. Just one condition, a desire to be as one man with one heart. So grab your friends, your intention, and maybe a little sense of humor, and let's meet above reason, above distance.
Expect side effects such as sudden love for friends you didn't choose, mysterious warmth in the heart, reduced importance of me, increased importance of we. Consult the friends if symptoms persist.
There will be no perfect conditions, there will be distractions, there will be resistance, and that's exactly why this Congress exists.
So let's agree in advance. When the mind argues and we connect. When the heart closes, we open it together. When the ego shouts, we smile and rise above.
Friends, let's meet above time, above space, above reason, and build that single desire where the Creator feels at home. With joy, mischief, and serious intention. L'chaim, friends. L'chaim, Bnei Baruch.
Comfort that we have recently.
We come to the Congress and get united. We should come.
Clarence and Antonio. Clarence and Antonio.
Good morning, friends. We hope you enjoyed that little bit of a humor. The thing is, friends, we've been studying so hard. The friends have been so focused in preparing for this Congress. We've never worked so hard for any Congress to this point. And we just figured that, a little bit of humor might be good just to break it up a little bit, because we're going to go right back into the serious work right after this, this event is over. We have so much joy when we get together, when we prepare these meetings we have with our friends. In fact, we open up the invitation for our Thursday meals to anyone in driving distance. In fact, last time we had reps from PT19, Cab U9. So anyone is welcome who can drive to our place because when we get together, it's like a Congress. We have a wonderful time. In fact, sometimes at midnight, we're still there talking with the friends because the love and warmth in your heart, you feel it. It is like a Congress because you don't want to leave. You don't want to go home. You want to be with the friends because it feels so wonderful. And I want to ask my brother, my paisano, my brother Antonio, to say a few words because we use this beautiful home where we all meet, and he's opened it up to us to utilize. And what an amazing brother and amazing friend. Antonio, let the friends know how you feel when we come to your beautiful home. Lahain.
Thank you. Hi. Hello, North American family. Thanks, Clarence. Clarence said a lot of things I wanted to say, but basically, we always say home, but we don't know what home means. It's really not a home until it's filled with all the hearts of the friends. And I live alone, and I have a big house, and uh, it's really not a home until my friends come over. It's just a place I live in until they come in and they make it a home. And when they come, the Creator comes with them, and we always have to remember that it's actually the Creator inviting us first, and He's always between us. But it's great, as Clarence said. We are great spirits. It usually gives us a great uplifting for the rest of the week, and it's needed. It's needed. We do a lot of virtual. I know that, but these physical connections are very important. It's just a corporeal thing. It's the way we function, and I think it is actually a gift from the Creator when we do get together, because we're very fortunate that we can. Everybody's made all the efforts, and then finally the connection happens. And as Clarence says, the door's always open. We have John that comes to our connections. Thank you, John. John's always great. Help us out with the camera and the computer. And we even had Slava this time from another 10. In other words, we're here. We might be Toronto 1, but really the door is and the home is really for anyone who wants to come and join us, because we are strong in numbers, and the more of us there are, the bigger the heart gets, and the more love that we can pour into this Kli of ours, where the Creator sees that and gives us even more of His love. And we have to remember that every time. And if you have the opportunity to get together and make it your place, go ahead and do it. Don't think twice about it. It is truly so heartwarming, and I think I'm the one who gets the gift in the end, because all I feel is that I have not wasted this space that the Creator's given me. I have filled it with the hearts of my friends. Fine. Thank you, friends. Have a great day.
Brothers. Love you guys.
Big
Thanks.
hug.
Thanks to Toronto 1 and our inspiration team. And now with an update from our Arvut team. Chaim?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Asaf, and thank you so much, Toronto 1. That was a perfect example of, on the one hand, putting a smile on our faces, and at the same time increasing the importance of the goal and the seriousness of it. You guys put it all together in this beautiful package. You really warmed up our hearts. Thank you. Great sense of humor too. Okay, so a couple of festive announcements. So first of all, oh yeah, one thing I wanted to say before I forgot. Asaf mentioned publishing the study of the 10 Sefirot, part 1. It's not. It's volume 1, which means parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, just for the record. Yeah, so that's better. And now more happy announcements. The Arvut team wants to thank Mary Pennock for the work she did with us for years, actually. She's moving on to other projects. She has been working on the Zohar very diligently, and they will be doing even more of that now. So she stepped out of the Arvut team. Thank you so much, Mary, for all your dedication, all your hard work. You really was and are an example for us. And at the same time, we want to say hello and welcome to our new team members, Ami and Julia. They're both replacing Mary and adding some more. We all know them, dedicated women, very capable. So we have no doubt that we will all benefit from their presence in the Arvut team. So thank you for joining. Now we have two announcements. One is for those who are not going to Israel. As we heard from Toronto 1, being together physically is a gift. And thankfully, there will be 6 mirror congresses in North America. So you can join wherever is close enough to you to travel to. There'll be one in Los Angeles, one in San Francisco, one in Colorado, moving from west to east, yeah? One in New York, in Toronto, and in Florida. Am I missing something? No, I'm not. Okay. Messages have been sent and will be sent again in all the chats. So look up these forms, and you're more than welcome to join any of them. Okay, we saw what the physical closeness does. I think Antonio couldn't have expressed it better, the value of getting together physically. It contributes so much, especially during a Congress. Watching it alone is a completely different story than watching it with other friends around you. So if you couldn't travel to Israel, go to one of these places, okay? Los Angeles, San Francisco, Colorado, New York, Toronto, and Florida. And if you are going to Israel, there's something very important you need to be aware of. After you register, I can share a screen, right? Okay, so after you register, let's say you're, okay, let me share it. After you register, yeah, here, you go down here. There's a button here that says Arrival and Stay in Israel. You click on that, and then there's this page here, and it says here Russian, English, Spanish. You click on that, and you fill out the form. Most of you have, I know, but if you haven't, you must. Why? Because if you don't do that, I don't need to share that anymore, then the system in Israel doesn't know you're coming. You may have paid for the flight ticket. You may have even paid for the Congress. But the transportation team doesn't know you're coming. They won't pick you up. The accommodation team doesn't know you're coming. They won't try to help find you a good place to stay. You'll have to find it yourself. Maybe it'll work out, maybe not. But if you want any kind of assistance, you need to fill out that form. And it's not only that. They don't know that you're coming, so it affects the amount of food that is purchased, seats that are prepared. It's the whole system. Okay? So please, anyone who's coming to Israel, go to that button at the bottom, fill out that form so that everyone in Israel knows you're coming. Okay, these are my announcements. And now, Richard, back to you.
Thanks, Chaim. Now with a clip from our USA Midwest 10. John?
Oh, Ella will share. Go ahead.
Hey guys, Congress is coming, and this one's all about connection. I got an idea. I have enough of these hats for all of us. If we all wear these hats, people are going to see that we're connected in a very special way.
These hats won't work. If you want some serious unity, get yourself some Gorilla Glue. It sticks to you like destiny. Now that's commitment.
Gorilla Glue sounds kind of extreme. How about duct tape? It's practical, it's simple, and it's universally respected. If duct tape can't connect us, nothing can.
Duct tape is great for holding your car together. Let's start a band. Unity, teamwork, applause, and maybe $1 million. Totally achievable.
No band. With band, everyone wants to sing lead. We need a structure, workshops, schedules, agreement, like in the government, but without access.
No, guys, come on. You're making this too complicated. It's very simple these days. All we have to do is ask AI. AI can solve anything. Oh, wait, I looked here. ChatGPT says, you guys have to do this yourselves.
Friends, now we're close. We can't connect by hats, glue, bands, or algorithms. Real unity is wanting one thing in our hearts. That's why this Congress is called Connecting in the 10 and Adhering to the Creator. We bring the unity, and He completes the adhesion. At the Congress, we aim our united hearts to the Creator.
Wow. Thanks, John, and the USA Midwest 10. And a special thank you to you for joining us today. We will see you next time. Ella?